I think there is a lot of people that live in Cornwall that don't like the tourists.
Summertime in the UK usually means thousands of Britons heading to beaches and resorts in the Med. But after months of lockdown and with many trips abroad cancelled, even more families have made the journey to beauty spots inside the UK, like here in Cornwall. But with COVID-19 still looming in the background and case numbers creeping back up, locals might not be as happy to see holidaymakers as in years gone past.
Cornwall relies massively on the tourist sector. The town of Newquay that I represent, over 50% of all jobs in that town are directly related to tourism and hospitality. Those who are sort of openly hostile towards tourism is a minority. They can be a vocal minority that gets heard a lot, but I don't think they represent the views of the majority of people by any means. It's regrettable that that was the image that went out from Cornwall. But equally, I do understand some of the concerns that people have had, particularly in the midst of the pandemic. And so, whilst I understand people's concerns, genuine concerns, that probably wasn't the best way to express them.
I think what's important is to try and understand what they meant by it. Did they believe perhaps that the government wasn't doing enough and the government hadn't taken appropriate action? Perhaps it was the only way that they felt their voices could be heard.
Cornwall is, it's not fishing anymore. It's a bit of fishing, it's a bit of farming, but our money comes from tourism. Me and my wife used to run a couple of shops in the main street in Foy. The challenges of the tourist industry down here are that it is just so seasonal. The amount of times I heard, "Oh, you must be one of the richest blokes in Foy." And I used to think, if only you knew, if you knew the hardship in October and November and December when you've still got to pay rent and you've still got to pay business tax, you just don't know. Till you've lived here a year or perhaps 2 years, you just don't know. You don't understand the cycle of things and you have to make your money in the summer, else you don't live through the winter. That's the bottom line.
I'm just going to give you a little bit of what I do. So this is the cafe. So at the moment it's being used more or less as a food bank. When I became the Cornwall councillor nearly 4 years ago, the first thing I did was contact the social workers and said, right, tell me what's going on in my area. I had a family who had been moved into a flat with 2 children, and the only thing that they had in the flat for a month was an electric cooker. Clothes were in black bags, the kids were going to school like that, and they had no beds, no carpet, no nothing. I think a lot of people coming here on holiday think that, we do live in some sort of paradise. But the reality is, St Blazey is in the top 10% in the country of deprived areas. Not a lot of people know that, but we have a lot of social housing in this area.
There are some real challenges, like most places here. The challenge of being a low-wage economy. For me, the benefits, the good sides, far outweigh the challenges. Life is great as far as I'm concerned, but it isn't the sort of idyllic existence that perhaps the media and some TV programmes present it as.
It influences people's perception of a place. I think for Americans, they can't quite believe it's actually real. I think sometimes they think it's an actual set that we've built. Generally, I think it has improved tourism, as in the numbers coming, but I'm aware that for some people, that isn't necessarily the tourism that they want, because it's a different type of tourist. People sometimes used to come to Cornwall and look and buy things or buy a painting or whatever. Now there's sometimes a feel that the tourism is maybe to come and see Doc Martin.
What's your secret PC pen helm? Not quite sure what you mean, sir.
Level of reported crime in this area is zero. It's been zero for the past 6 months.
Does my character, PC Penhale, as the policeman, deal with quite hard-hitting issues that people in Cornwall might face? I would say because it's a comedy character, I think there's a simple answer, and the simple answer is that he doesn't. His drama is someone parking on double yellow lines.
First tonight, a plan to tackle increasing concerns about open drug taking and rough sleeping have been put in place in one of Cornwall's most troubled towns.
St Austell's had some real challenges with antisocial behaviour, low-level crime and addiction, whether that's alcohol or drugs or other substances. And it is an ongoing issue.
Wherever you go, it seems that there are people there that need help, that need support. They need to be understood, but we seem ill-equipped to be able to support them, to make things better for them. I don't know what the answer is, but we certainly, St Austell is not the town that it used to be. I think one of the probably biggest changes that I've noticed is where I see multitudes of empty homes. You get a feeling of sadness when you go there and you walk down the street. 5 or 6 houses, sometimes 7 in a row, are holiday homes with all the lights out. Young people, young families, unable to afford to live in some of those villages now.
You know, we live in a free country, and I think that, you know, we should allow people to buy property where they want. They undoubtedly bring a lot of economic benefit to Cornwall, but equally the flip side of that is it does have an impact on our local house prices and puts house prices really out of the reach of local people.
Very often they'll turn up and you see them getting out their cars with boxes of groceries, so they're not even using the local shop to keep things moving. And then they wonder why when they come back next year and the village shop's gone. They are very lucky to have a second home, which means that if you can afford to buy one, you should be paying into the local economy.
People that come down here and treat us like we're thick yokels, and we're not. We're just people like everyone else. You know, we're not some like pasty-eating, clotted cream maniacs. It's not like that.
We got this romantic vision that's quite often on the telly about how wonderful it is, all the beautiful tourist places. We got all the journalists coming here, showing you all the wonderful new businesses that are coming up. Yes, there are wonderful places. There are great opportunities here, but there's also a lot of hardship.
Cornwall is not all Poldark and Pasties, and that's something that tourism doesn't seem to understand. But we are living, breathing people, and we deserve to have the best that we can have as well. And at the moment, I feel that we've not. So, you know, we need more dentists and doctors and hospitals and all sorts. Let's hope we get it in the future, eh?
Here was the freedom I desired, longed for, sought for, not yet known. Freedom to write, to walk, to wander, freedom to climb hills, to pull a boat, to be alone. I for this, and this for me.